Hey, what's going on, Z Nation? Zaid here, ZSPN, and welcome to the Lakers post-game show on ZSPN on YouTube. I'm your host, Zaid here. And today, guys, we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Lakers versus the OKC Thunder tonight. Now, guys, before I get into the Lakers win over the OKC Thunder and, the players of tonight and the stats, and, how the Lakers played very well and showed up this time around compared to yesterday's game. I want to give you all my thoughts and my opinions about everything that went down when it comes to the Lakers versus the OKC Thunder. But before anything, like always, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share my videos all over Facebook, Twitter, all the good social media stuff. And of course, like always, please make sure to like my page on Facebook, ZSPN, and also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at ZSPN. I really do appreciate the love and support you guys give me all across social media and of course on this channel, ZSPN on YouTube. So guys, actually before I get into the Lakers win over the OKC Thunder, just a real quick, announcement. I mean, honestly, I have to really bring this up because this really hits home when it comes to, being a Bronco fan and a Denver Bronco fan and, living in Denver. The passing of Demaryius Thomas at age 33. I went on social media and I gave my thoughts about his passing and how important his passing was when it comes to so suddenly, because I'm a huge Demaryius Thomas fan, and I really considered him as one of the best receivers in Broncos history, and you can make the argument in NFL history because he really put up some Hall of Fame type of numbers when it comes to yards and touchdowns and receiving yards and just all across the board. I mean, if you really go look at his stats, guys, I mean, he really makes the argument of potentially possibly being in the Hall of Fame, but he will be in the Ring of Fame with the Denver Broncos. And when it comes down to it, guys, those of you who know me, I'm a big Denver Bronco fan. I'm a huge I'm a Broncos country fan, so when it comes down to it, Demaryius Thomas is well loved in Broncos country, and especially for Denver sports. So when it comes down to it, I mean, his passing is just such a gut-wrenching surprise after finding about. I actually found out about it last night when I was making the video for this channel about the Lakers versus the Memphis Grizzlies, which obviously the Lakers lost, but I probably got that notifications probably like 15 or 14 minutes into the video, and I wasn't, when I saw the notifications, I just I had my eyes wide open when it came to seeing that, and I thought it was just a joke, but seeing where the notifications came from, it was really starting to set in, and I was just very shocked to see that notifications in front of me. So honestly, guys, when it comes down to it, Demaryius Thomas, really made a legacy for himself as a Denver Bronco. I mean, he just really made some really memorable moments when it comes down to it. I mean, as a Denver Bronco, and he will be missed. He will be missed as a Denver Bronco, and my deepest condolences to his family and loved ones, and for Broncos country who are feeling the way I'm feeling, this we just have to remember his the legacy of Demaryius Thomas, what he brought to the city of Denver, because he really delivered when it comes down to it. I mean, just the guy that he was. I mean, even though he was such a great athlete, I mean, he was such a humble athlete. I mean, when it comes down to it, he was never the guy that wanted attention or anything like that. He just goes to the field and just gives us a 100% great performance, and just had to really put that out there and just want to give you guys my thoughts about it. And, since I'm a Denver Bronco fan, and, Demaryius Thomas played a huge role in my loving for the Denver Broncos, and what he gave to us for his legacy as a Denver Bronco. It was just something I just wanted to put out there, and hopefully, everyone just takes it easy, and just consider, that life is so precious, and just have to live in the moment, and hopefully, just spend time with your loved ones, and just cherish them, because you never know when you will leave this earth. So, just want to put that out there. Rest in peace to Demaryius Thomas, Denver Bronco for life. But on a side note, let's talk about the the Los Angeles Lakers versus the OKC Thunder tonight. I have to say, guys, when it comes down to it, the Denver Broncos really showed up when it came down to it. Compared to the last night's game against the Memphis Grizzlies, they were a no-show. But this time around, they did. And finally, they got a win over the OKC Thunder after going 0-2 against them in the beginning of the regular season, which should have been a must win for the Los Angeles Lakers, because, as I mentioned, the OKC Thunder is one of the worst teams in the Western Conference and in the NBA in general. So it was just an ideal type of situation where the Lakers needed to get these type of wins, these easy matchups when it comes to OKC, when it comes to Minnesota, Timberwolves, and then the Kings and etc. Those type of matchups, they were supposed to be winnable type of games, but unfortunately, the Lakers could not come up with a win against these particular teams. But, when it comes to this one, they got one. They got an easy win over the OKC Thunder in convincing fashion, and I was just so impressed across the board of how the Lakers played tonight. The shooting was very, very good when it comes down to it. I mean, when you look at the starting lineup tonight, obviously Anthony Davis was not he was out tonight due to, I believe, soreness in his knees. So still remains to be seen when he will come back, but hopefully he does on Sunday against the Orlando Magic. So hopefully that's a type of matchup that the Lakers could potentially get a win over, but still remains to be seen about that, because we're not even. It's so hard to tell of how the Lakers are when it comes to on a game-to-game type of basis, if they are able to win games moving forward, because it's so questionable at the moment of how the Lakers could turn things around and start winning easy matchups moving forward. So, but when it comes to this one, they came to play, and obviously when it comes down to it, with LeBron James leading the way with 33 points, and I believe he went 4 of 6, or maybe it was 3 of 6 from the three. Obviously, the shooting efforts from the Lakers was well known, and I will get to Avery Bradley's great performance out there tonight. But LeBron James led the way, and obviously, guys, for these past couple of games, we've been seeing a lot of toughness and a lot of accuracy from LeBron James since his return after numerous injuries and suspensions and all across the board. I mean, this beginning of the regular season for LeBron James has not been his friend when it comes down to it. I mean, this is not a great beginning of the regular season for LeBron James, but slowly he's starting to get his rhythm, and obviously we're seeing some MVP type of performances when it comes to LeBron James. This time around, he showed up in a big way, stepped up for the Lakers against the OKC Thunder in convincing fashion with 33 points out there tonight. But, the main attraction, the main guy that stepped up out there tonight with no, Anthony Davis, and obviously with him being out, Dwight Howard got inserted into the starting lineup, and obviously they played a traditional lineup, and, instead of having Anthony Davis at the center, they went with Dwight Howard at the center position. But everything just stayed in place when it comes down to the starting lineup But Avery Bradley, really stepped up in a big way for the Los Angeles Lakers, I have to say. I believe he went 22 points, and I think he went 6 of 8 from the three. So the shooting efforts, as I mentioned, really stepped up out there tonight for the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, the shooting efforts was there, and they delivered. This is not a normal type of situation when it comes to the Lakers, when it comes to shooting, because the shooting efforts from the Lakers have been lackluster for these past couple of games. And this time around, it really showed up. And it all had to do with Avery Bradley leading the way when it comes to shooting efforts from the Los Angeles Lakers tonight. And as I mentioned, guys, when it comes down to it, I mean, Avery Bradley, even though we don't really see him, score the way that he does on a every game-to-game basis, defensively, he is there. When it comes to a guard-like player like himself, defensively, he does show up on occasion when it comes to defensively. And even though he doesn't put up the type of numbers that we expect from Avery Bradley compared to 2019 Avery Bradley, is just, when it comes down to it, defensively, he does step up at times when it comes to the Lakers in the starting lineup. Because I'm here to tell you guys this. I mean, Frank Vogel puts him in the starting lineup for a reason. I mean, the main reason is because of his defensive efforts in the first half. And we've been seeing that when it comes to Avery Bradley making defensive efforts to help the Lakers win games at key situations. And when it comes to defensively, he does show up. But offensively, tonight, he did show up out there for the Los Angeles Lakers. He really stepped up out there. And I went on, I was in the live chats on the Lakers Nation when they went live after the game. And Trevor Lane, he does a great job when it comes to answering, the fans' questions. And obviously, what's his name? Matt Peralta, Optimus Peralta, whatever. So, he was also on there, and they answered one of my questions when it comes down to the circumstances of, Avery Bradley remaining with the Los Angeles Lakers. And I brought up his non-guaranteed contract, and would he stick around with the Los Angeles Lakers if somehow, Trevor Ariza and, Kendrick Nunn comes back in the new year in January of 2022. So, you never know about his status of the Los Angeles Lakers, but this is what they had to say, and I really believe that what they spoke was really resonates with most Laker fans when it comes to the status of Avery Bradley. Check this video out and give me your thoughts about it.
I've got a comment here from ZSPN said, "Hey Trevor, do you believe Avery Bradley will remain with the Lakers since his contract is still non-guaranteed?" So the guarantee date on that is early January. I want to say
that's correct.
January 4th is the date that's popping up in my head.
It's early January.
I don't remember. It's somewhere around there. So early January. So they don't have to make that decision right this second. But I would have to imagine Avery Bradley probably doesn't go anywhere based on what we just saw and the fact that Vogel continues to start him. So yeah, I wouldn't expect him to get waived. We did kind of peg him as a contract that might get waived if the Lakers decide that, hey, we want to open up a spot for in March when the buyout market really heats up. But if you're going to go drop 22 points in a game like this and play pretty good perimeter defense as well, you're probably not going anywhere.
It's January 7th for the record. Is his guarantee date.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, I think that at this point, like that's kind of why I was saying like these kinds of games from Bradley are bittersweet, because obviously you want the Lakers to win, you want contributors no matter where you can get them, but I still kind of think once the Lakers are healthy, and by healthy I mean Trevor Ariza and Kendrick Nunn coming back, I feel like one of these guards is going to be out of the rotation. I think we just talked about Reeves a lot. I don't think he can be out no matter what happens. Kendrick Nunn, I think, is going to have a role, assuming he's healthy, because the Lakers paid him to be a role player. And then obviously there's been a lot of talk this past week about Trevor Ariza being their primary wing defender, so he has a role.
Yep.
I guess at that point, what do you have Avery Bradley spot for? I'm not sure. I still think the Lakers could definitely use a 4-5 guy or another wing wherever you can get them, even if it's going to be a break in case of emergency wing. I think that would be more useful down the stretch. But yeah, it's nights like tonight that make it, and even yesterday night that make it hard to justify cutting Bradley, especially if he's going to play up until his contract date comes up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but yeah, I personally think that roster spot could be better used. But if he's going to continue to play close to this level on a consistent basis, then I mean, I guess you keep him. It's really no harm, no foul for the most part.
Yeah, and we don't know who's going to be available on the buyout market. It could be that there's nobody that they're that interested in. I do still think that, like you, they need another wing. They could use another guy with a little bit of size that can defend some of the better perimeter players in the NBA. And Avery Bradley can defend guards, but they've got a few guys who can do that. But again, that said, you're not going to cut a guy who's become a starter. Now, and look, there's been plenty of arguments that Avery Bradley shouldn't be starting. I've seen that in recent weeks. I would argue, though, like you, it's more THT that probably shouldn't be starting. Even though his upside is higher, I would continue to start Bradley over starting him. And I hate saying that, but I just think that's the best case scenario right now.
I mean, if Trevor Ariza comes back fully healthy, wouldn't you just want both of them out of the starting lineup?
Yeah.
Regardless.
What, Bradley and THT?
Yeah, wouldn't you just rather start Reeves and Ariza next to AD, or the big three, basically?
If Ariza comes back and he's starting, I think Avery Bradley will start with that group. I don't think Vogel will take away Bradley's minutes to give them to Reeves.
I feel like he still should, but that's I
agree. I think he should, but I don't think he will.
Mark Capuno, this is what I'm saying. Hire me. I would start.
So, guys, when it comes down to it, I mean, Trevor Lane and Matt Peralta, they really put down the idea that he could potentially remain with the Los Angeles Lakers after the fact, and even with the returns of Trevor Ariza and Kendrick Nunn, it could potentially work some sort of way for him to remain with the Los Angeles Lakers moving forward, but still remains to be seen about that. So, if he just keeps this momentum and, on occasion, if he does give us some shooting efforts that will help the Lakers get a lead or some sort of big lead, like what we witnessed in potentially in tonight's game, or maybe a couple of games ago when he was giving us like 13 to 15 points a game and giving us 3 of 5 from the 3 type of performances, then he could potentially remain with the Los Angeles Lakers after the fact. But, it remains to be seen about the status of him potentially remaining with the Lakers, because it's so up in the air as of this moment. And you never know about the buyout market, because you never know about the circumstances of the Lakers' needs when it comes to going after a potential perimeter shooter, somebody who can shoot from 40% on a consistent, nightly basis. Or maybe if the Lakers want to go for another big guy, or maybe another power forward. I mean, obviously we need power forward, so that's the main issue that the Lakers are looking for when it comes to big men. So obviously, if there's somebody that will come available to them in the buyout market, I won't be surprised if they decide to waive Avery Bradley and go after that particular player who could, I don't know, maybe just do all the combinations of, being a big man, playing defense, and also being a perimeter shooter, somewhere around the range of maybe potentially, Kevin Love, or, maybe there's somebody out there that I can't really think of, but, I think of Kevin Love because he can be a solid defender and also can shoot threes. So if there's a that type of scenario, then maybe the Lakers could go that route, but still remains to be seen about that. But Avery Bradley had a great night out there tonight, so great job on his end. When it comes to the rest of the Lakers out there tonight, guys, when it comes down to it, I mean, Russell Westbrook, I have to say, he was a no-show when it comes to this particular game, but his services was not really that needed because of the dominance of LeBron James and Avery Bradley out there tonight. So obviously, when it comes all said and done, and plus we're playing against the OKC Thunder, so his services was not really that needed. But this is Russell Westbrook we're talking about. Okay, Mr. Triple Double himself. I believe he had 6 points or maybe 9 points out there tonight. Obviously he did not put up big numbers. But, he, as I said, he was not really that needed. But on occasion, he was that facilitator at, when it comes to, facilitating the ball for the Los Angeles Lakers as that floor general, passing the ball in key situations. So, I don't want to say that he did not step up, but, he on occasion does help the Lakers in key situations that we don't even notice. So, obviously, he did not put up big numbers and did not really show up. But, on occasion, he, was there when it comes to helping the Lakers out in key situations. So, but, when it comes to other players like THT, I believe he had 11 points. Maybe it was 10 points out there tonight. Guys, when I was watching, Lakers Nation, they brought up the idea of potentially having Austin Reeves being inserted in the starting lineup, replacing THT. And I have to say, guys, I won't be too mad about that. I mean, I honestly say Avery Bradley, Austin Reeves really stepped up for the Lakers as of late, and I was very surprised that Frank Vogel really took him out of the rotation. Where in key moments in the beginning of the regular season, where we really needed some help due to injuries, Austin Reeves really stepped up for the Lakers on the offensive side, really bringing that speed and that athleticism, and the idea of just him really stepping up for the Lakers on the offensive side with his speed is just something that the Lakers were lacking when it comes down to it. And this time around, he really stepped up for the bench and really bringing that energy and that youth when it comes to bringing a lot of energy off the bench. And, he really stepped up out there tonight when it comes to shooting as well. I believe he went 2 of 3 from the 3. So out there tonight, he really stepped up on the shooting side. But I have to say, guys, if somehow, Frank Vogel, listened to reasoning and obviously, decides to put Austin Reeves in replacing THT, I won't be mad about that, and hopefully, it works out if it does happen. So I don't know. Still remains to be seen about Frank Vogel if he will do that. But judging by how Frank Vogel, how he does his rotation and the starting lineups, it doesn't really seem that he will do so. But still remains to be seen about that. So. But other than that, guys, other than Austin Reeves stepping up for the bench role, none of the Lakers on the bench really stepped up in my eyes, especially as of late for Carmelo Anthony. For some reason, guys, he's not really been showing up when it comes to, bringing up big numbers when it comes to shooting and stuff like that. But, this is something that we kind of expect from Carmelo Anthony. On occasion, we could see him giving us 3 of 6, 4 of 6, 5 of 7 from the 3 on occasion. I mean, we witnessed that, and we know that he can deliver so. But, as of late, he hasn't been really doing so. But I think, we will see that from Carmelo Anthony moving forward. But, as of stands now, I just think that he's taking it easy and, obviously giving the reins or maybe just some other players from the bench some ability to just really step up for the Lakers. And obviously Austin Reeves was the guy that stepped up for the Lakers off the bench. So when it comes to his offensive side and just, really helping the Lakers out when it comes to bringing that energy off the bench. So, but guys, other than that, guys, I mean, I really want to know your thoughts about the Lakers win over the OKC Thunder finally. Do you guys, I really want to know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. And who do you guys think really stepped up out there tonight for the Lakers win tonight? Was it LeBron James? Was it Avery Bradley, Austin Reeves, or could it be someone else that really stepped up out there? And just want to, on a quick note, just want to congratulate DJ for reaching his 10,000 career rebounds. That's a big achievement for DeAndre Jordan for delivering that for the Los Angeles Lakers. As a Los Angeles Laker, reaching that particular goal in his career, and it just came to me. I had to bring that out there. So, but other than that, guys, I really want to know your thoughts about the Lakers moving forward. And do you think the Lakers will start to get their rhythm and hopefully start to win games after this particular matchup, or do you think there'll still be struggles? Please give me your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Go Lakers. Take it easy, guys. Stay safe out there.